Hello, and welcome to our October show. I'm your host, McGuire Eunice. This month, we take a look at student clubs, a band performance, and fall activities. All this and more on this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings.
Family, school, memories, and fun. Things everyone wants, at every age. Even 5 years old and 23 years old. The age of a first-year kindergarten teacher here at Farmdale Elementary School, who happens to have a lot of connections with the school between her home and childhood. While Miss Reisinger has been a part of the Hempfield family for many years in the form of a student, long-term substitute, and student teacher, she now comes back in a whole new leadership role.
I always just assumed, I did my time, I student taught here, I long-term subbed here, just kind of figured after I was at a different district last year, I would never come back.
Many of her good childhood memories come back from being at the school, but besides good old times, her mother Sharon works in the same building as she's an office secretary, and her middle sister Hallie is following in her footsteps and taking the same career path as Michaela.
It's definitely something I never thought I would be doing, is working with my mom in my 20s. But it's kind of nice. It's also that little piece of home, having someone that I didn't really have to learn too much about, but already knew.
It's nice because then I can give her heads up on certain things that maybe a new teacher would know, or give her a rundown of the building, or stuff that's going on that a new teacher might not remember to do or be told to do.
Michaela enjoys having her sister alongside her as she travels in this new direction and getting to watch Hallie learn from her as she envisions her future career in elementary education.
It's nice to have someone to run ideas by before I do it, because even though she hasn't graduated yet, she still has that same mindset. So it makes it nice having that kind of person you can turn to.
I actually wanted to go into teaching because of seeing her and how she interacted with the kids, and she's able to show me her projects, and I'm able to see how different they are, what grade she got on them, and she's able to just give me advice on how to do better in the classroom.
From the outside, kindergarten may look like a fairy tale to some, but these sisters can see each other's struggles and support each other through their learning and teaching process.
She hears all about the different struggles I go through just as first year teaching, and just learning the curriculum and learning, which I'm sure is really neat on her end, just because she has the inside look of what it sounds like and looks like.
Her students love all the fun things they get to do and what makes her a special teacher.
When we do our dances, she's funny. She can draw on her iPad with her finger.
The three Reisinger ladies all have the special school binding them together. They can go home and talk about the same fun and struggles they each experience, just in a different role. Michaela's past comes full circle as she now enjoys her position teaching kids who could one day be in the same spot that she is, teaching at her old elementary school. I'm Savannah Miller.
Centerville Elementary School is giving students the chance to be leaders in their school by being a part of their new student council. Josiah Pletcher went to learn more about this opportunity.
This is one of those things where when we talked about up front, like the responsibility side of this, Hempfield gives students many opportunities to use their leadership skills to voice their opinions in their schools. Here at Centerville Elementary, students have the chance to do exactly that. Mrs. Kerner and Mr. Kramer came up with the idea to start a student council at Centerville to give students a chance to help improve their school.
And so it's new this year. So what it looked like this year for applying, we had an assembly with all our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. In that assembly, we went over the application process. We have a form that students filled out, answering questions about like what leadership skills do they have, what are some ways, ideas that they have to improve our school. And then as part of the application, they also needed to provide a copy of a speech. So they needed to be prepared to speak to their homeroom for a minute or two about why they would be a good representative for their classroom.
I've got brand new balls in my office that we can swap out.
For the first year, Mrs. Kerner and Mr. Kramer have big goals in mind for the council.
I want students to feel like they're helping to make a positive impact in our school by speaking up, being a leader and a representative for their classroom in positive ways. And it can be something small as cleaning up recess at the end of the day, or more broad, bigger projects like we do like a holiday giving tree, a program here at our school, like if there's ways that they can help with that. Or even we have monthly CHAMP traits, like our school-wide positive behavior program. So having their help with promoting that trait for the month, posters around the building, announcements on the morning announcements.
And Elizabeth asked me to tell you that she thinks the school could use more pencils.
I spoke to some students to see why they wanted to be on the student council.
I think it's good to have the leadership qualities and to be able to have those qualities and lead others.
I really like having time to help younger kids, and I think it's pretty good to have really good leadership qualities for the future.
The students have also come up with some goals of their own.
I think that having a legacy project would be good for the outgoing 6th grade classes.
I'm thinking of like making longer gym, because gym is pretty good for people. It's good for exercise and improves health, and a lot of kids enjoy it.
Centerville is the first elementary school in the Hempfield School District to have a student council, paving the way for other schools to give their students the same chance to be leaders. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Josiah Pletcher.
We're trusting that you're going to go out, be responsible, do your job, and then get back inside and get back to class.
The Hempfield community gets the opportunity to listen to the Hempfield Marching Nights. The March-a-thon, a tradition started last year, took place on October 9th. Vince Wazotsky had the chance to follow the band around the streets of Landisville.
Last year, the Hempfield Marching Nights started the annual tradition of the March-a-thon. The March-a-thon is a time and place where the band comes together on these streets of Landisville and play for the community. On October 9th, the Nights returned to the neighborhoods.
March-a-thon is HMK's way of giving back to the community that supports us. You know, for most of our performances, it takes work from the audience member to come see us. They have to come to a game, they have to come to a competition. In March-a-thon, we take the music to them right where they live in the community.
We take in donations, and people can request songs that we can play, and then we just play for the community.
On top of that, March-a-thon gives the band a chance to see the neighborhoods adjoined to the school at which they practice.
It gets us out there. Usually we're like stuck either in the high school or like right around the high school, but whenever we do the March-a-thon, we're really out in the community and like playing things for people.
The musical selections chosen by the band are intended to be fit for all ages.
So we get to play our favorite, what we call pep songs. So things like Sweet Caroline, which is an audience favorite as well, because they get to sing along. And those songs that we play in the stands at the football game to get the student section and the crowd at the football game really excited and riled up.
The students saw March-a-thon as a success, as well as a crowd.
They were very excited, especially, you know, clapping along when their favorite song was going by, cheering on the drum line when the drum line would play a specific groove without the winds. They're very into it.
They seem to like it because some people will line up and then just watch us as we go by, so yeah.
The Hempfield Marching Knights hope to continue this tradition of love for the community in a time of fun and music. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Vince Wazatsky.
Librarians and teachers in Lancaster bring up the topic of banned books in school. Lizzie Pegg reached out to learn more about this topic.
Recently, educators have been shining the spotlight on Banned Book Week and how it fits into the education system. I ventured to get more insight on this topic. Banned Book Week is a week in September that brings attention to books that have been censored and encourages the freedom to read. The topic of Banned Book Week has received both praise and criticism over the years.
Banned Book Week started around the 1980s when there was an increasing amount of challenged books. It calls attention to the freedom to read what you'd like. It also draws attention to books that have been challenged in the past, and it gives people an opportunity to look at those books and make decisions for themselves.
So Banned Book Week is an opportunity to recognize books that have been challenged nationwide. My understanding has always been that, aside from school districts that may choose to ban certain books from their shelves or their curriculum, a book is on the banned book list if it's challenged, if it receives so many challenges.
So my understanding of Banned Book Week, it's an annual celebration where we celebrate and recognize the freedom that we have to read books. I think it gives students, the opportunities of freedoms to explore the books that they might not have otherwise had access to, and to really kind of individually reflect on the merit of the book and the author's message in it.
The American Library Association claims the overall goal of this event is to teach the importance of our First Amendment rights and the power of literature, and to draw attention to the danger that exists when restraints are imposed on the availability of information in a free society.
So I have always thought that the purpose is to recognize that there are books that we have in our society that not everyone is happy with, but also to recognize the importance of keeping them. It's not just about, you can be unhappy with a book or maybe don't want to read it yourself, or you maybe don't want your children to read the book, and you have your reasons for that, that's understandable. But I think it's supposed to be a recognition of the fact that just because there's literature out there that you don't like doesn't mean that we should prevent people from reading it.
So when I think about the purpose of what's behind Banned Book Week, I think it's truly to celebrate the opportunity that we have, the freedom that we have to access and read books of our choosing. I think Banned Book Week portrays a message of the need to celebrate the authors and the works that they have created.
Despite all the attempts people have made to censor these books, educators and students stand strong to support learning and the freedom to read. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Lizzie Pegg.
The Black Knight field hockey team had a very accomplished season this year, despite the long trail of challenges they've had in the past. Special thanks to the past reporter Abby Gingrich for her contributions to this month's show.
The Hempfield field hockey team has a winning record for the first time in years. With 11 seniors on the varsity roster, they were able to pull out 9 section wins.
Let's go!
All of our work paid off, over all 4 years, especially for our big senior class that we've worked really hard to get to this point, to get into postseason and finally be winning and doing well with our season.
Second-year head coach Sarah Brooks has led the team to many successes this season, but the biggest was a win against 12-time league champions Penn Manor.
Senior class has been a strong senior class, bringing on their leadership and excitement, and really trying to be competitive within the section. And I think just the 9th graders coming up, eager to learn, eager to enjoy their time with each other, it has really helped the entire season.
Oh, here we go, girls! Yeah, kid!
While the coaches are excited for the postseason, the seniors have more mixed emotions.
That you kind of think of all the past memories and you're just like, oh, I guess it's the last time I'll be stepping on the field with these girls or with this program, and it's really just a bittersweet moment.
While the senior players may be leaving, the growth for the program is just beginning. From WHHS, I'm Abby Gingrich.
The varsity team finished their season with 9 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie. The girls ranked 13th in the league. Earlier this month, we had a special guest in the studio. I had the chance to sit down with Hempfield's new food service director. I'm here with Hempfield's new food service director, Elena Melendez. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So, to get started, who are you?
Well, my name's Elena Melendez. I've been a food service director for about 11 years. I actually started in Hempfield this July, but I've previously been a food service director at Palmyra Area School District and Harrisburg City School District and Columbia Borough.
So, as the food service director of these school districts, what is your job?
My job is menu development, staff development, making sure our kitchens are following the rules and the regulations, hiring, cost controls, budgets.
How has COVID affected our food department, especially here at Hempfield?
Well, it's affected it by like the way we serve stuff. Like self-service isn't allowed anymore. Well, it's not that it's not allowed, it's frowned upon. And everything has to be wrapped. So that's really about it. And the 6 feet distance in the food court area and stuff like that. Correct, yes.
How has that affected our food supply here at Hempfield as well?
Well, we've been doing a great job of securing our food and forecasting the amounts that we need. So I wouldn't necessarily say that the students noticed, but I mean, sometimes we had to make substitutions. It might be a different type of product, or a lot of drinks we can't get, like a la carte, like the G2s, and we're having a hard time getting the Gatorades and milk. So
is there truly a difference between Hempfield's food department and other schools?
Well, every school has their own recipes, they have their own style, they have their own stuff that they offer, but we all gotta follow the same menu patterns. So with the fruits, the vegetables, the protein, the grain, the milk, all that stuff would be the same, but you might have different recipes, different offerings. Yeah, so for a meal to be reimbursed or considered free, reduced, or paid, you would have to get you didn't necessarily need a fruit or a vegetable. So that was a big change. So now if you want to benefit from the National School Lunch Program, in order for your free meal, you have to take a fruit or a vegetable. And then also all the grains offered have to be whole grain rich. Now those were the two main things that the students would notice.
On a daily day for you, what does your schedule look like here?
Oh, geez. Well, this is a fairly big district. There's 10 buildings. We have about 70 to 80 cafeteria staff. So every day is different. We're having supply issues like everybody else in the country right now. So I come in the morning, I make sure call-offs are covered. I do orders, I communicate with staff, I make menus, I do all kinds of stuff.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show today, and thank you.
Oh, well, no, thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Darian Rivard. Today I'm at Hempfield High School, where recently there has been a bus driver shortage. This results in coaches and their student athletes needing to find a new way to get to events. Dr. Steve Polonis, the athletic director at Hempfield High School, discusses how coaches have gone about obtaining their Class C licenses to transport their students.
There's a bus driver shortage right now. So with the bus driver shortage, we don't have enough bus drivers to transport our students to their competitions immediately after school. So different schools are handling it differently. For us, we've been fortunate that that STA, who's our transportation provider that we have a contract with, they've been working with us, and even though we've had to get some coach buses to take teams to events, I'm proud to say not one team missed an event this fall because we didn't have a bus driver, and that is certainly our goal, and I'm glad that we succeed in that area.
Coach Rogers, the track and cross-country coach at Hempfield, is one of the coaches that has gotten their bus license to be able to transport his students.
This is my 4th season of coaching the cross-country team in the last 4 years. Back in 2005, I was a coach for 1 year. Been a track coach for many, 20-some years. I had been talking with Dr. Polonis, the athletic director, and he said that there's going to be a bus driver shortage, and if coaches had their CDL license and could drive a bus, it would help out with the situation. It's been an addition, a good good addition to just the coaching. Well, I stopped at the bus, STA, the bus company, and just kind of thought, all right, well, I'd get trained on how to drive a bus, but 50 plus hours later and sitting 3 hours in the PennDOT building waiting to get tested, it was more of a time commitment than I thought it was going to be, but in the end it turned out to be worth it.
These past years, the district has been struggling to find ways to solve the bus driver shortage. However, it seems a creative solution has helped out everyone on the track team. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Darian Rivard.
As the use of technology grows in the world around us, Hempfield is not far behind. Savannah Miller follows the timeline of increasing use of technology in the Hempfield School District.
Imagine math class 20 years ago. No graphic calculators for checking problems and no computers for visual demonstrations. If most of our parents would step into a math classroom today, they will be surprised to find the technology available to the students. This is a quote from the 52nd volume of the Hempfield High School Yearbook, The Epilogue, from 1998. As technology use continues to grow in the district, we move from paper and pencil to typing on computer to being able to upload to the cloud. New pieces of technology are used with all students in all classrooms and for at-home learning. As technology in the school district is growing by the minute, Chief Information Officer Mike Graham catches us up on all that is going on in schools.
We're starting to see more courses use electronic materials that just drop right into Schoology so that you're not necessarily jumping out or having to go to a lot of different places. That the district's certainly looking at, evaluating, figuring out what we need to do in the long run, see where the state lets us go, where we want to go, whether, what role technology fits into that going forward.
The class of 2024, this year's 10th graders, were the first to receive the iPads in the one-to-one iPad program in 2015. And this year, they got a revamp of the iPads with the new keyboard cases.
10th grade was the first grade we rolled out earlier this year. We got a lot of feedback during the pandemic about students that were working very heavily online, whether it was either in our virtual program or just doing regular coursework on their iPads, particularly at the secondary level, that keyboards really were a great addition. We've always wanted to be able to offer something like that. But the combination of iOS and the ability for the hardware to support it, that's really what kind of pushed that forward to be able to offer that.
While there are mixed opinions, many students love having the iPads and their new keyboard cases.
So it's quick and easy.
I like the fact that the keyboards help me type faster.
I love being able to have my own keyboard and write faster.
Virtual learning has put a toll on the equipment that was always used in online classes. The Hempfield Virtual Academy students all received MacBooks for their fall online classes.
Specialized software that comes up sometimes in those courses, whether it's graphic design, computer programming, things that if you're in the building on a regular basis, we have computer labs. It's a little bit more difficult to do that at home on an iPad.
The Hempfield community is very supportive of all of the new technology additions in the district. Although we as a school have updated our technology, all the way from paper and pencil work to being able to display a screen to a screen with no connection, many teachers and staff love to display the old technology they still have a hold of. As the tech industry continues to grow, Hempfield sees to update as needed, but still hold on to a piece of the past. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Savannah Miller.
Animals of all kinds need a place to stay, even pet birds, considering over half are neglected or abused. Having a bird-specific shelter is one thing that we can all be benefited by. Kira Miller reports.
Hidden deep inside one of the biggest pet stores is a different kind of animal that needs adopted, so they can fly right into your home.
The sanctuary is just for exotic birds. Sometimes we do get birds in that are sick, and we do try to take care of them.
According to Oasis Sanctuary, over 75% of exotic birds that are bought experience neglect or abuse, and 4 to 5% end up in shelters.
They can live, the cows can live to be 90. So people pass away and their family doesn't want them, or they go into a senior center and they can't have a bird. If you get a baby, it might love you. When it gets to be a teenager, it might not.
Part of the reason birds end up in shelters isn't just because of their long lifespan. They also tend to be a little picky.
They pick their people, and That's why we have people come in and visit several times if they find a bird that seems to like them. I want them to be able to handle the bird, play with it, interact, get it in and out of the cage, just be comfortable.
This guy here, when he first came, he didn't like me that much, but as soon as I kept messing with him, he fell in love with me. He's so picky on who he likes.
Doing your research before making the decision to take a bird into your home is extremely important, especially because of the misinformation surrounding the bird community.
Well, if you buy a bird from a breeder, they might as well just say oh, we hand-fed this bird.
Now that we've explored the Feathered Sanctuary, maybe with enough research, you'll want to welcome a feathered friend into your home. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Kira Miller.
As the seasons are changing, so are the popular activities. Pumpkin picking is a seasonal activity perfect for this time of year. Morgan Wilfong got the insider scoop.
Fall is blowing in, and that means apples, corn mazes, and obviously, pumpkins. Pumpkin picking is huge, and it is enjoyed by many here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Ryan Shank, the manager of Cherry Hill Orchards, a local family-owned orchard and outlet, gives information on the fall at Cherry Hill.
Harvest time is definitely the busiest season. Everything from pumpkins to gourds, corn shocks, apples, cider donuts, apple cider. Fall screams come out to the farm.
It doesn't just stop at buying the produce.
On Saturdays in October, we run hay rides to the pumpkin patch. They can pick pumpkins. They drop off at the field, take pictures, and just have a general family fun time.
For Reese Wilfong, this simple activity shows to mean more than just picking pumpkins, but rather a long-lasting family tradition.
We go to Cherry Hill Orchard to go on the hayride to pick up pumpkins, and then we carve pumpkins and put them out on our front door.
The time spent as a family shows to mean more to Reese than the activity itself.
It's important to me because it just feels like right doing it because we've been doing it for so long, and it's important because it's something that we can all do together because families need to do stuff together a lot.
Pumpkin picking is a popular fall activity, but it is also proven to be more than just picking pumpkins, but also picking memories that will last longer than a pumpkin. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Morgan Wilfong.
That's all for this month. Make sure to tune into next month's special episode. Also check out these stories and more on our YouTube page at Hempfield Happenings. Before we close out, enjoy this short feature on students' favorite Thanksgiving activities. I'm here in Hempfield High School's cafeteria asking students what their favorite Thanksgiving food or activity is.
Eating a lot of food. Eating. Ignoring political discussion.
Eating. I love eating.
Talking with my family.
Black Friday shopping. Eating food.
Thanksgiving food?
Mashed potatoes and gravy.
All right.
Turkey.
Food.
Pumpkin pie. Anything pumpkin.
Corn mazes and pumpkin pie. I mean, it's like everybody's, but stuffing.
Dish.
Turkey.
Football.
Definitely stuffing.
Probably the stuffing.
Sweet potatoes.
Hanging out with family.
Eating.